Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I missed last week because I had lots of stuff going on. I'm doing some major shifts. I had lots of things happening. So, yes, I did miss last week. So, I'm hoping to do this as a regular, but it may be sort of once a fortnight. So, we're just going to find that flow and find that rhythm. So, yeah. So, basically, I'm going to do this talk this morning. Okay, on too many cooks spoil the broth. And what do I mean by that? And there's going to be a little bit of planet Pluto going on as I delve into the just life as to where we are right now and how many times we kind of keep falling into those same traps, those same situations where we start with something new comes along and everybody runs down that funnel and then it gets jammed and we can't figure out what's the truth from the fake and we kind of get stuck. We've got so much stuff going in that pot that the soup doesn't taste very nice anymore. So that's really where we're going. So I'm going to say hi to people who are coming on. And if you can put in your comments that you're here, that would be great. And then we can strike up a conversation maybe. So let's have a look. Hi everyone. So let's see who's around. So yes, so we're going to talk about this and try to get some kind of perspective into why we're going to get bombarded with lots of oh hi Erwin, how are you? How are you? Lovely to see you. Why we get bombarded with so much information, why everybody wants to run off with this information when we get something new, why we get too many people in the pot creating all this kind of what they deem to be great soup from all the knowledge that they have and only to find out that ugh, it doesn't taste very nice. So morning Margaret Ann, how are you? So yes, and who is feeling that there's too much information out there and you're still not really getting to that inner standing of what the information is all about and you're getting confused maybe. So who's in that situation? Because what happens is, we can wander through life or we can start to really get a grip and think, right, okay, you can now decipher who's telling you the real McCoy and who's kind of just winging it, okay? Because we're in a crucial stage right now. We're in a very crucial stage right now where we don't really need to be having too much information that is the incorrect information. We've been there, we've done that, we've got the t-shirt, we've probably got the hat and everything to go with it. So we really need to start looking at ourselves and how we can fine tune that gut of ours, that energy of ours that is going to give us some real kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of attunement really to ourselves to be able to differentiate. Is that real? Or does that not right? I don't does not seem right. And I've noticed quite a few, well I'm talking lots. Let's start with the celebrities, for instance. We've got celebrities out there who want to promote products. And literally only yesterday, I was horrified at one particular celebrity, advertising a Marks and Spencer's. And there were, they've got children, they're advertising Marks and Spencer's, gin, Marks and Spencer's, cupcakes. Oh, there was all sorts of going on. And these people were supposed to be, out there as somebody that you would look up to. And they're called influencers. Well, and then another picture was a picture of a tea party for the children with all white bread, all these high sugar stuff. Oh, she was promoting the pig stuff as well. It was absolutely horrific that you could even stand there and knowing you've got children going into this new energy that we've got. Oh, thank you for sending good energy. Sending, putting yourself out there. Telling people that it's okay to eat and your children to eat these high sugar sweets and this white bread and all these cakes, this poison that you're going to intoxicate your children with for a few quid. And so for me, it's really looking at a time now where we start to flush this out and get a grip and say, we're not going down that road anymore. If money is more important to you than telling the truth about how your children would not benefit from that. Yes, we've all done it in the past, but now we know. You know, now we know. And once we know, we have to start changing, don't we? We have to look at the situation and start saying, oh, okay, the doors are open now. The doors are wide open for us to see and to discover this knowledge. But there is a bombardment of people who are deemed to be influential and who are, you know, promoting products for money rather than promoting the products and doing the research on those products fully, and therefore helping the population like ourselves to really get an understanding of that and thinking, yeah, well, no, we're not going to go and poison ourselves anymore. We've been there, we've done that. Now's the time for longevity. Now's the time to enter the fifth dimension energy. And you can't go in fifth dimension if you've got all these heavy metals and these toxins in your body. You cannot do that. You know, so we've got to look at how we look at authenticity, how we look at who's promoting what. And do you think it's right? If you think it's right for you, then you follow that path and that's fine. But what will happen is you will soon discover whether it's right or whether it's wrong for you, because your body, your mind, your health will deplete by taking in and consuming all that rubbish that's going to be entered into your body. Now, we do have a little bit of a dilemma, because even though we are knowing now that we have, you know, certain foods that we know are no good for us, we are struggling to get access to the decent food. Okay, so we're struggling to get access to it because, you know, people are still wanting to create this mix of high sugared, toxic food, you know, to, you know, whatever they want to do with that, to feather their own nest, to make their pockets bulge with money in their bank accounts, you know, at the sort of risk of not, well, killing people, you know, sort of creating a slower death. So for me, I'm working with fifth dimension energy. I'm really going down that road as to let's discover the truth. Let's flush out these people now that are kind of just promoting for money, because that industry, that era has gone, you know, but they're still stuck in it. So they're stuck in a matrix. Okay, this is a bit where the planet Pluto comes in, you know. So, oh, thank you. Who's that? Bella. Very well said. That's why I've been a keen watcher of your content. Oh, thank you. Hi, Bella. Um, but we have to start. It's truth now, isn't it? We have to start. We have to start looking at the truth and really, you know, who's more important, a celebrity or you and your health and the health of your children? And that's when I look at these things. For me personally, if you notice, most of my content, I don't really get many people to or bother about celebrities promoting my stuff. I've had one celebrity saying, oh, can I buy your, you know, your products? And then when I told them the price, they kind of didn't bother. They wanted it free because they classed themselves as an influencer. But when I looked at their content, but you're promoting everything and anything. So no, my whatever I have is authentic, and I will want people who are authentic to, you know, promote if they wish to, not because I've asked them to do that. It's totally irrelevant. Because when we're going down this road of really opening our mind and our consciousness and growing and elevating and raising our vibration, you don't care if a person's a celebrity or not. They're human beings. You don't care if they've got 1 million followers or not. What I care about is you as an individual and how we can enhance your life, how we can bring your life and elevate it to that level of joy, happy, peace, contentment, but also the realization that we will have dips going through our life, and therefore, you know, we need to know how to deal with that without going into some meltdown, you know. And I think once we start to navigate and work through the journey, you know, I call it the human blueprint journey. It's the blueprint to everything. It's the truth. It's the truth to everything. It's now cutting away all these falsities, all these vibrations, all these bits, these recipes that are going into this broth. Too many cooks spoil the broth, as I say, because it's too much. It's too much. You know yourself, I've done it myself. When I've thought, oh, I'm going to make something nice, you know, to eat, and then I'm going to experiment, and I put too much in. That's not very nice. Too much. You don't need it. And then I've done other days where I've made something absolutely spectacular, like I made a beautiful aubergine and courgette bake, and it was absolutely stunning with some homemade pesto. It was beautiful with just a pinch of the right ingredients. I didn't even realize what I was putting in there. I just went into that zone, and it tasted beautiful because there wasn't too much. There wasn't too much going on in there, and we tend to overload and overindulge ourself and our senses, you know. We can't remember anymore what's good or what's right, and because we've got too much. So for me, it's about now looking at these things, looking at um anybody who, look at what they're promoting, just look at what they're promoting, because at the moment, you know, we're still on that crossover. We haven't done the split yet, you know, which is where we're going. We're going into this split, we're going into this divide. This is what's happening cosmically, okay? We are having this cosmic, biblical event. And it's an amazing time. But what we have to do is, when you're walking down through that journey, we're all going down like a funnel, okay? And when we get to the bottom of that funnel, we're going to have to make a decision. But sometimes people are not going to be able to make that decision for themselves, because what's going on in here and around here will determine which way you go. So it won't be your kind of conscious mind that will take you. It will be your subconscious mind, okay, that will take you there. And that's why I talk about all the time, is how we must look at this seriously and start to clean and clear our own vibration, start to differentiate between the wolves in sheep clothing, start to differentiate the ones that are spoiling the broth with cooking too much stuff. And all these people that are out there that, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, the other, totally in the wrong lane, okay? You cannot do every single thing. Even myself, I have my niche. My niche is the blueprint, the human blueprint, and I will stick down that. Did I do that before? Yes, I did. We've all been there. We've all been in that place where, we've not found who we are yet. But it was well before I learned how to kind of nurture that, look at the systems that I have, and fine tune them and do a lot of work on myself. And it took years. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't. And we have to get away from that things happen overnight. We want them quickly. We're not going to get them quickly. We spoil the broth. Okay, we put too much in. So why are these people here then? This is the other question that I ask myself, because we've got to get to that place again where we ask ourselves questions. We don't just take that value, that food for thought that is going to give us the right information, myself included. Research stuff. Don't take my words as gospel either. What I've done 30 years of research to get to the place where I get to. Very, very nitpicky as to the information that I put out, and based on hours and hours and hours and hours of research. Right, okay, this is saying this. Well, let me trace that, let me track that back. Good afternoon, Ron. Hello, welcome. Let me trace the information back to where it's come from, the source it's come from. And then I have to do all this validity and look at it and think, right, well, does that, when they said that, does that match that? This is me. This is how I work, okay? It's what I love doing. And I've done it from a child. I was one of those children at school that they couldn't really teach because they say something. I'm thinking, that doesn't sound right, and I'd questioned it again at university, when I was at university. So we've got to get to that place where we start to question things and start to look at what we are being told and what is the truth, okay? How much of that ingredient is in there is going to make that energy raise, make that cake raise, let's say, and how much of it's going to turn it flat eventually, because it can look great when it comes out of the oven, but the next minute, bumps, because it's not been authentic. It's not the right ingredients haven't been put in there. So we've got to get to that place as to where we are and how we can do that. So anybody here feel that you're getting stuck with information, you're not sure which way to go, You know, you're listening to certain things, it seems right, but then you're questioning whether it is right. Has anybody got any kind of comments on that as to where you think you want to go as well? Which way do you want to go? Do you realize which roads we have? Do you know that there's going to be a split? Are you aware of the energy that's happening around us, that's changing and transforming every single day, taking us to somewhere? Who knows? Do you know? You know? So there's so much information, so much information. There's so many places that you can look for this information, but there's so many red herrings. There's so many things that are not going to lead you to where you want to go to. So for my advice really is to be very, very observant. Take a look. So when somebody puts things out there, look at the rest of the things, look at what else they've been doing, you know, look at just do you know, probably have to do probably about 3 or 4 feeds down or images down if it's on Instagram, or you know, if it's on a Facebook page or even on here. Look at what they do and who they follow, you know, and look at what their content is and how authentic they are, because you know, trust me, I always say, you know, people can show you a mask, but behind that mask is the real person, you know. So let's have a look at Ron. It's kind of confusing in these days because I can't really get out of house, but I know I have a bigger purpose and I'll find that out. Okay, Ron, yes. Well, that's a good thing to say, because at least you're acknowledging that, you know, you're acknowledging that there's a confusion, and the fact that, you know, you're not being able to get out of the house. Is that to do with a lockdown, Ron? Or is it because to do with something with being not well? You know, because there's a big difference here of not being able to get out of the house because of your you know, let's have a look. Oh, partly. Which one's this? Partly, yes. Is that partly the lockdown or partly the health, Ron? Which one is that? Because yeah, the lockdown, you know, we don't have to stay in, we just have to be mindful as where we go. Okay, so you can go out, and I always say, let's have a look. Get out of my past and and thoughts partly. So it's yourself that's locked yourself in. It's yourself that's locked yourself in. Okay, so the thing is, thoughts are very, very powerful. Okay, it's another ingredient that can spoil the broth. Okay, too many cooks in the mind can spoil the broth. Okay, and again, it's this overload, isn't it? This overload of information and our thoughts. So this morning I did a meditation before I came on this morning, and I like to do the fifth dimension meditations, you know, where you detach yourself from your everyday thoughts, but not detach yourself from the narrative that's going on in your mind, because we can't do that. We constantly will be thinking all the time. But what we have to look at when we do a meditation is to stand back and just observe the thoughts rather than participate in the thoughts. And that's a different thing. So maybe for you, Ron, this is something that I would probably recommend, is to look at trying to practice, you know, the thoughts, your thought processes of observing them rather than participating in them. Okay, and hopefully tomorrow on my Facebook page, I'm going to do a private meditation. I don't do my meditations live, I do them over Zoom. So if you're not know where I am, I've got the Human Blueprint on Facebook. Follow me over there, and you'll be able to see when I'm going to do that. And I do it on my Martine Belinda page as well, whichever one you want to look for. But yes, and I do a private one on Zoom. It's only about 35-40 minutes. But it's a nice one because it's a bit of a guided one that takes you through the different transitions, and it helps you to realize your thoughts as well, you know. Belinda McManus, good morning. How are you? Thank you for joining. So yes, so basically when we're looking at this information, all this stuff, yes, like Ron has just said, it can be just as much information going on in your mind as it is the information that you're seeing and observing out there. And we're in it, well, most of you are in a predicament where you're not sure, and you know, some people are very convincing, very, very convincing, you know, because they've skilled, they have a skill in being able to deliver and to being able to articulate, you know. And some people, you can just tell there's a genuine authenticity. you know, once you start to fine tune that inner self of yours, that vibration that's going on all the time, that is waiting for you to bring that out to be able to, okay, yeah, that doesn't feel right. Whoa, let me move past that and move on to something more and something, um, you know, where my energy will take me. Because as soon as you recognize something that doesn't sit right with you, that's classed as a fine tuning to your core. It's like, whoa, okay, yes, you've did that. So then you do another one and another one, and eventually you just get it. You just find that that's it. That makes me feel higher vibrational. This questions makes me gives me too many questions in the wrong way, because you can have questions from authenticity which give you that open door to, wow, I like that, let me go and delve a little bit more. But you can have questions of unauthenticity where you think, hang on, I'm just totally baffled here, I'm not sure about that, that's a bit contradictory, that doesn't make sense, did it? And we can start to flow through that vibration to find the right place for the authenticity. But I do get that we are in a place now where it's difficult. It's difficult to fathom out who is, you know, um, talking about stuff that you need. So the way I look at it is, everybody and anybody on the planet right now is trying to help people. Okay, well, most people are trying to help people in some shape or form, but they're not ready to help people really, because they're not ready from where they are right now themselves. So what we're looking at here now is this person, you know, talking about their own ill health, but yet wanting to talk about the helping other people. Okay, does this person look well, you know, does this person, you know, have a bit more clarity? And these are the ways and the things you can start to fine tune what you listen to. And then sometimes we have to listen to the not so good stuff to find out what is good, you know, we have to kind of get to that place. And other times we've got to have a lesson in that. We have to have a lesson, because we can be taken off on this merry-go-round with people and think, why did I go there? But the universe is saying, well, look, this is because you were not centered. You were kind of floating around with no roots embedded. So when the wind comes, it can tug you up and can take you off into spinning all different directions. So we are here to grow. We are here to learn the recipes, okay? We are here to get that ingredients for us in particular, not just for everybody. One soup is not doesn't taste great for every human. We all like different flavors, different tastes, and that's when I say, when I do the human blueprint, it's looking at you first of all, who you are, okay? What's your ingredients? What's going to make that taste nice for you? And then we've got the collective, okay, the collective ingredients, which helps us navigate through the different kind of sequences, the patterns, and the energy that we need to tap into to help us elevate, to lift our vibration, to keep us out of that energy that's dark. So the two paths that I talk about basically one is towards the light and one is towards the dark. Happens every 100,000 years. Okay, and when we get bombarded with all this too much ingredients, when we get all bombarded, we can end up unintentionally going through a frequency that is going to take us down the wrong path. And then it's shock, horror, how do you get back? Okay, will you be able to get back? Because we don't know when this split is, whether that's it. Well, I kind of do know. When you're splitting, it may take another 25,000 years, but you get back eventually from a reset. Okay, a bit more planet Pluto coming through. So you know, what's the reset? Unfortunately, the reset is when we get to a certain place and your vibration isn't vibrating beyond 350 hertz, which is what you need really, more than 350 hertz vibrating from your own inner self. That's from, you know, your core, your mind, your spirit, and everything. When you start to vibrate beyond that 350, you can go towards the light, because you know we're none of us are in a position at this minute in time where we are light bodies. You know, we're not. That's the whole purpose of moving through the transition. But you can take yourself towards that energy and start to learn and have the tools, presented to you from going down through that way, which, by the way, will still have technology. It's not going into a primitive, living in, very, very basic conditions. It's actually not. It's actually going into a fantastic vibration, which is going to give us the tools, the technology to live the most abundant life. Absolutely, it is. So, dispel that myth that we're going down this, or you're going to go back to the medieval times if you start to try and live a life of more purity and, of more conscious living and more conscious of what's going into your body. There's so many kind of myths to try and stop you from moving in that direction, and it is a myth. They are myths. I'm going to have a cup of my tea, which is my lemon and ginger, by the way. So yes, so we're really looking at now, how do we do that? Where do we look for the right information? For me, keep off social media in the way of the news. Okay, the news. Social media is fantastic for the spiritual stuff, but even some of the spiritual stuff isn't really the real McCoy. Again, it's kind of peeling yourself back, and maybe you can't reach the real McCoy until you've peeled back a certain energy. Okay, it's all about the law of opposites. We can get to a place where we can fully understand particular stuff to a level and think, right, okay, now I need a little bit more information. Okay, and that start to peel you back and start to take you through the next layer of frequencies. Okay, the next dimensions, if let's say, of the mind. And when you've kind of satisfied with that and you think, right, that really sits. I mean, how many of you have had any information when you felt like you've had a light bulb switch on? This is how I'm going to define how you can actually get to that place eventually. So it's the light, it's that, oh, wow, yeah. That's hit me. That hit me. When you get that feeling, whoa, something hit me. I'm getting those all the time now. It's like, whoa, yes. I'm just having my new branding done, a new logo for myself, for my own levels of growth that I'm going through. And this one that's already come through, and it's just hit me like that. Hit me. Completely touch that spot. You feel it. You feel the light coming on in your energy. And you have that inbuilt knowing, which we're all born with, to be honest. We're all born with this light inside us, that no matter what's going on externally, that can never be doused. It can never be put out, because that's what we've come in with. We've come here with a light, So if we don't get to that place, this reset is basically where it's come to the end of our journey on this planet, and we pass over and we reset and come back into another life, which then takes you back into fifth dimension, providing that's what you've really wanted. So let's just say, gosh, I really wanted this fifth dimension to tune into it and to align with it, but I ran out of time. My habits kept taking me over there. They kept taking me back into the darker energy, kept taking me back into the misinformation, kept taking me back to not knowing. Okay. And no matter how much I tried, my energy just wouldn't allow me to shift. So, but deep down, you wanted to do it. You will come back in a reset. You will come back as, a higher vibrational being, able to tap into that energy. Okay. And this is the thing. So it's not the be all and end all. And a lot of people fear that kind of, oh, what do you mean you're going to have a reset? That mean I die, and all that sort of stuff. Do we ever die? Planet Pluto, conscious lives forever. This is our vehicle, this is our vehicle. We have been here before, we've died before, we don't remember, but we've just not appeared on this planet, as a being that's never been here before. We do maybe have some new souls coming through now. Because we have to have them coming through with no karma. Let's have a look at Bella. Misinformation and half information is way more harmful than having no information. I agree with you, Bella, 100%. It is, because the mind is very susceptible to being taking in information based on the magnetic pull and the tones and the frequencies that we've already got embedded into our subconscious mind. So it's easy to get misinformation. It really is. It really is easy. And these people are out there, you know, who have got this platform. They've got no conscious. No conscious whatsoever. If they either don't know, which is worse, they don't know, and yet they're promoting stuff, and they don't really know, which is worse to me, because that's like having, you know, getting in a car with somebody who's not passed the driving test. You wouldn't do that, would you? You're not going to go, you know, on a long trip with somebody who's never driven a car before and not even passed the test. It's lethal. It's dangerous, you know. Who's this? Hiya, Chris. Had a sleep in. Watch again after. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. No problem. Yeah, it's always on a replay. You'll probably like this one because we're on a Planet Pluto journey as well today. So yes, you just wouldn't, would you? You're not going to go and get in a vehicle with anybody who hasn't passed their test. You just wouldn't. That would be like, you know, you just don't value your life. But yet we follow a lot of these people who are taking you on a journey and they've not passed the test. They haven't. And you can tell, you can see, yes, they've got money because they're in an industry, but does money give you that place where you think that's success? Does when someone's got money, do you think, well, they're successful? I don't. I think they're successful in being able to earn money, but not successful in life, you know, because what comes out of their mouth doesn't match. So we were looking at where we place our value on what people are saying and how they are saying that and who they're saying it to. You know, we've had a huge shift on some of the most highly paid A-list celebrities, you know, who are being flushed out for lots of incorrect stuff and things that have been going on. So when we start to look at that, then down that road, oh, and I suggest have a peek. Don't go in that pot. Please don't go in that pot. Just be aware of it, you know, be aware. Who else have we got? I thought somebody that, yeah, just be totally aware of what is out there. Don't put your energy in it, because when you put your energy in it, it's another hook that's going to take you down that road. There's a lot of an awareness that's going on now, a lot of things that we are being exposed to. What we need to do is, when we're moving forward into the light, is just notice it. It's what I was talking about before with the meditation, where we become the observer. We cannot get involved in that energy, as distressing as it may be for the victims, but be aware that they are already being taken care of from the higher vibrationals. That's not for us or for people like yourselves to get involved in, you know. It's more about just looking at the higher vibrational energy that can help them, you know, definitely. So when we get to that space of, right, we can now differentiate between what our own energy is wanting to call upon, what our own energy is now ready to listen to. We can start move towards that split, okay? And the split will be, like I said, you can go from the Iron Age, which is where we've been. We're actually moving into the Bronze Age now, which is taking us to the Golden Age, okay? So as we're coming down this funnel, which the timing is really out of our control, we do not get to say when that split happens. That is already been predetermined from this biblical energy, from this cosmic energy. There's a specific date that it will happen, and we have to be prepared. And there's a story that I remember listening to, or either reading or listening to. I read that much stuff, but basically it was about these what's happening now, you know, the cycles that we're going through. And basically there was some gates, and these gates were now started to appear. And as they appeared, everybody looked at these gates and, oh my gosh, it's time, we must get to the gates, because the gates are going to open into this new beautiful energy, this new light energy. So people started to go. Now the prepared people, they were there, they were stood in the queue, and they were waiting and waiting and waiting. And as they were in the queue, there was like this list on the door. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Blah, blah, blah. And it's going down this list. But the prepared people had done all this. They knew, yeah, we've done all that. We can tick that, tick that. And then the unprepared, oh, we've not done this. Oh, we didn't do that. Oh, we didn't do this. Well, we're going to go. The gates aren't open yet. Let's move. Let's go away. Off they went. And when they came back, the people who had prepared had already gone through the gates, and the gates had closed. So it was too late. It was too late. So you really need to looking at your energy now. How would you feel? What's going on in your vibration? What makes you feel great? What makes you feel ugh, and prepare. I talk about this all the time on all my things, is the preparation. And the first thing we're looking at doing is detoxing our mind and our body, okay? And looking for the right tools and the information to do that. And there's plenty. Like I said, I'm sorting out a Patreon thing where I'm going to start putting lots of stuff that I've researched, that I see is very authentic. I can guide you and lead you to that stuff, okay? Takes time, like I said, because I really need to make sure it's what it's right for me at that time to be able to say, yes, this is what I would suggest for you to look at. So, but it's a journey that we're going on, and the split is one way to the light energy, fifth dimension, where you can tap into all kinds of things, and another way which is going to take you into more of the darker ages, more control, and more of that energy that you're not ever going to be able to get out of for a very long time until you have your next reset. Okay, so who have we got here? Rebecca, good morning. Had a lie-in too with granddaughter. Sorry. Oh, that's fine, Rebecca, no problem. Margaret Ann, Martine, have you got time to sort out a reading for me, please? Margaret, yeah, send me a message. I have had a message from somebody and I can't figure out who it is because I can't access the message. I can just see the picture and a little baby with a baby there. So, but yeah, private message me on my Facebook or something, or Instagram, and yeah, I will sort out a reading for you. That's not a problem. I'll just send you the details. So, and that's one of the things is very, very important, is to have that reading, because once you've got your set, of your instructions, then that's like your map. It's your blueprint. It's like building a property, building anything. If you haven't got the blueprint and the foundations there, what you're building on top of that will collapse. It will collapse, okay? Because we've seen it. We've seen it with even properties, with wiring. Get a short wire or whatever, because you've not actually been able to get that done properly. So we need to really have our own foundations. What's our blueprint? What is it? What have we come here? What tools do we have? What do we have? And so once we start looking at that, then we can build on top. It's the layering, okay, which will take us to the fifth dimensional energy, which is going to be phenomenal. And I cannot wait to talk in a lot more in depth about that fifth dimensional energy, because once you tap into it, you kind of become invisible to what's going on out there. You do. I've had many occasions where I've just done things and think, no one saw me. No one saw me. Nothing untoward in a good way, but no one ever saw me, or they tried to get me to do something and I just go in a different frequency. I'm in a different timeline. I don't get involved in that, so things don't affect you anywhere near. They affect you when you're in this three-dimensional energy and hooked into the matrix. Doesn't affect you. You just skip through it. It's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff. Oh, thank you, Margaret Ann. I've sent you a PM on Facebook. That's fine. Thank you. Yes, I feel someone or something is holding me back. Don't want to say too much. No, don't tell me. See, the thing is about me with energy, I don't want to know anything about you whatsoever. I prefer it, and that's the power of what I do with my work with the blueprints, is that you don't need to give me a life story. I don't need to know anything about you. I have about you in that blueprint. It's there, you know, so I can see it. So the less I know about you, the better, because then, because I'm working with a subconscious mind, the subconscious mind goes, "Ooh, you never told her that. How would she know that?" And by the way, I'm not a clairvoyant. I'm not a medium. I may have clairvoyant tendencies, but I'm not a medium. Okay, so it's just energy that I work with, and I can read energy. I read it from your vibration as to where your success lies, where your potential lies, where your sabotages lie, what your life path is and what your lesson is, and how you can grow and develop that to move yourself up through these vibrations into that higher dimensional energy where you have access to all the fantastic things for your health, for your well-being, for your mind state, for everything. You know, it's going to be a phenomenal journey, so let's just have a look now at the energy of today to see where we are and what you can tap into today. Okay, because again, it's very important when you want to align with the energy that's around. You can have a bit more of you can tune into it a bit more like a radio station. You actually tune into this energy. So we've got today's about being reflexive. So you can be reflective by looking at yourself in the mirror. I've done this one before. See if you can sit and look at yourself in the mirror for 60 seconds, just looking at yourself. Those for the women, no makeup. For the guys, just raw as you are, you know. Just look at yourself in the mirror for 60 seconds. And it's a day as well to enjoy some time with your family and your friends. Okay, so that's where we are today. So, you know, when we're kind of going through this, we've got to start looking at ourselves. We've got to be able to identify with the egos that we have and allow those egos of ours to be looked in the face and say, are you a part of me that is taking me down a path that I really should not be going down? Or are you a part of me that is now wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to achieve more out of your life? And therefore, that's still an ego in a way, because I class egos as the echoes that go out, not an ego as somebody who is, you know, up themselves and thinks they're too good for the boots and all that sort of stuff. An ego is to do with that echo that goes out. What are you taking out to the universe that is coming back to you? It's the echo that comes back, okay, and defines your state of being as to where you are right now. And so that's what we're looking at with that. So look in that mirror if you can for 60 seconds, because it's a very good task that actually to do that. So Margaret Ann, morning. Oh, she's saying good morning to Chris. So yeah, so I hope that helped a little bit today. I want to go deeper into things, but I'm testing the waters with you guys because I don't want to lose you or drown you in all the information. So it's literally just looking at that, and you know, just been looking at that. Too many cooks do spoil the broth. And if you've got people saying they do this, they do that, they're advertising this, they're advertising all these things that they're advertising, all these things that they are saying that they can do, question it. You know, it's not that they cannot do it, but you need to get into your lane. You need to be identifiable with what you are here to help, because we've all come here for a purpose. We've all come here for a purpose, and we need to identify with that purpose and pass people on to the qualified, to ones who have really got the information, and that's their purpose to do. I've seen it too much now. Too many people saying, "I can do this, I can do that," and it's going woo, and you're going to get confused. You're going to get confused. So that said, watch the recipes, okay? Don't put too many ingredients in, and be observant as to what people are telling you and how you can identify with them, okay? So I'll thank you, Margaret San. So enjoy your weekend. Those of you who want to do the meditation with me tomorrow, it's on Zoom. You do need to private message me, or not private message me. You need to, when I put the post up on my Facebook page, I'll put a post up there and just comment yes, and I will send you the link. And if you're on YouTube, let me know, because I can always send the link over on YouTube to you as well at some way. Put it to, I don't know how you can do it on YouTube actually, but yeah, you may have to follow me either on Instagram or Facebook, because I don't put the link out to everybody. It's a private meditation. So enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And it's a bit rainy where I am, but the sun's going to be shining in here, and that's the most important part. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will, no problem, you're very welcome, Marianne. Sorry, Margaret Ann. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will speak to you all, some of you tomorrow, and some of you tonight over on the Shinny Show Live, where I do my hour on Facebook as a Shinny Show Live. and that was going to be interesting as well. All right, then, you take care. Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Erwin. And who else will we have on here? Chris, Bella, and VK. Got VK there, and Ron. Enjoy. Take care. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon. Bye now.